Psychedelic Experience, Record Run number 40, baby.
Wowza.
We're old.
Yes.
We are old. All right, ladies and gentlemen. In our quest to continue to release a video about every 2 weeks here this summer, we're going to continue to bang them out. So thank you so much for coming along with us on this ride. Belly Yellow, you started us last time. I'm going to start us this time. So this is one I picked up through Discogs via you. I always use your PayPal account. I'm off the grid. But one that is featured in the book by the scholar of psychedelia, Mr. Richard Morton Jack. This is a coffee table book that came out about a year ago. It is a wealth of information. It is so good. It's Psychedelia 101 Iconic Underground Rock Albums, 1966 to 1970. Now, you'll note that the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper is on the cover. And Richard Morton Jack, I do take an issue with your calling that underground, as it is, you know, one of the most popular albums of all time. But for the most part, he does have the stuff that's sort of the staples of psychedelia, only one by each artist, and then some of the weirder stuff. So you and I are kind of in a competition here, because we have a lot of those staple albums.
We do.
And now we're going for the weirder stuff.
Yes.
So that'll show up in some coming videos, I think.
Oh, teaser.
So, from that book, though, the one soundtrack that's in there, the Electric Flag Trip. The Trip. The movie was produced by the American International Pictures, Mr. Roger Corman's group there, and of course it's where Fonda and Hopper sort of, I think it was the first time they'd really worked together, but they worked on the script a little bit, and so it's totally cool. Bruce Dern's in it, you know, I mean, it's the sort of the beginning of that counterculture, what would become the BBS production company.
Yeah.
Totally worth picking up, and I got this one for Friezo.
Yeah.
Because the guy who I ordered it from was like, oh, I overgraded it, I'm just going to give it to you for free.
Yeah.
So, thank you to that gentleman. Thank you, Roger Corman, and Peter Fonda, and Dennis Hopper for all the trips you've provided us with.
I'm showing stuff from the November and probably January record shows, various other record shows. I don't know. I just kind of grabbed stuff that I knew I'd purchased there. A lot of it from our friend Greg, who always has some cool psych stuff.
Oh man, what a good guy.
And great guy. Awesome guy.
Knows his stuff.
Yes, he does.
Shout out, Greg.
He's an encyclopedia. This, however, I believe came from Carlos. $5 a disc for everything at his table, including this little gem. T-Rex, Beard of Stars. Love me some T-Rex.
I know you do.
Love T-Rex. This is great. I mean, the Slider and Electric Warrior are definitely above this for me. This is in a much more acoustic, folky kind of vein, but the glam is still there, just an acoustic glam. I don't know what you would call that, but wonderful stuff. Closing track, Elemental Child, is really good, and that one actually may have some electric guitar on it. And then By the Light of a Magical Moon, we have tracks like Dragon's Ear, The Woodland Bop. This is great. This is fantastic. If you're a T-Rex fan, or you're just into British folk, or like Bowie, this is kind of a melding of all of those things in one pot, stirred together and spit out by Mark Bowen. So.
All right, so we go from, for me, a free record to a dollar holler.
Oh boy.
That's right.
Big spender.
Hit up the garage sales and got a copy of There Are But Four Small Faces.
When did you get this?
Oh, this was a little ditty I picked up a while back. You weren't around.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
You were keeping that close to the
Hodges,
chest.
whoever Hodges is, it's on the label too. But this is on Andrew Loog Oldman's Immediate label. There's just a pink label there, but it's a popper. Love that that logo. And
it's really cool.
Oh, it's a great one. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, you've got it. You've had a copy of this forever, but yeah.
It's hit for mine.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. This one's in. It's got one long hairline on it somewhere, but
that's pretty good though.
Yeah, but for $1,
yeah,
happy to have it.
Boy, that's great. All right, this one I believe is coming from our friend Greg. $10 I think I paid for this. I really can't remember, but it was not much more than that if it was any more than that. This is Sideshow, self-titled album. This is pop, but kind of weird pop. You know, it's a little more experimental. There are psychedelic elements to it, but for the most part, it's just pop music done a little bit weird. I don't know if I can fully recommend the album. Like, I can't say it's great or anything, but there are a few tracks that are really good, and there are some tracks on here that I kind of don't care for. If you had the CD version, you'd get to it, you'd skip a track or two, you know, one of those things. Yeah, I don't know. This is just kind of a weird artifact of the 60s. You know, it's one of those that it doesn't leave a lasting impression.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you're like, I think I'll listen to this track from this album. So, I don't know, you know.
All right, we're going to keep the cultural references going here this evening. This is another one that I got. I don't know if I'm going to call this steal of a deal, but I think I got this at the May St. Louis Record Collector show.
Okay.
And I have just absolutely loved the Peanut Butter Conspiracy. It is, of course, Jefferson Airplane-esque. Peanut Butter Conspiracy is from 1967. It was on Columbia. I love a lot of this. Turn On a Friend is the opening track. It's a lot of fun. Invasion of the Poppy People is great.
Oh, yes.
Captain Sandwich is a lot of fun. And I like Too Many Do, which is a great little track off here. And again,
I've been called Captain Sandwich in my day.
have you now? Yeah. I used to work at Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
I think I put on the application, like, what qualifies you to work at Jimmy John's? And I think I make a pretty good sandwich.
Also coming from Greg, and also for $10. This is Ford Theater Time Changes. This is wonderful. I really like this album a lot. I give the nod to their other album. I like that one a little bit better, but this one does have some really deep psychedelic moments on it. There are some straightforward pop, almost musical-esque numbers because, as you'll see on the back cover here, Ford Theater presents Time Changes, a new musical. So they're doing kind of a concept, Broadway-esque sort of interludes on here that every once in a while you're like, all right, we didn't need that 30-second clip. On side 1, 5-minute jam, I've Got the Fever. Yes, they do. Yes, they do, and it's great. It's a great track. This one I think goes for $10. Their other album I think goes for a little bit more, but if you find this one, this is well worth picking up. I do recommend this.
So, at Vintage, you had picked up a copy of this during the show.
Yeah.
And then this one, this might have even been in the shrink. This is in really good condition. I paid up for it. Apple Pie Motherhood Band, I think this was the only thing that day that I was like, meh, I'll drop a 20 on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely and completely worth it. So 68 was when this one came out. It's on the Atlantic label. Love Born Under a Bad Sign, man.
Yeah.
In 67 and 68, everybody was doing a cover of Born Under a Bad Sign.
Yes,
but other than Cream, I think this is the best one. The best one of that era. Not from the original Bluesmen. Of course, nothing can top the original. But of the psychedelic bands that were covering that, it's Cream and then this one from Apple Pie Motherhood Band. So that's a fun one to check out right there. Great LP there. Totally worth your time on that one.
Keeping the Greg train rolling, this is a $15 pickup. Stephen Monahan, self-titled on Cap. This is folk. Psychedelic is being generous. You see it hyped a lot as folk psych. It's kind of a little bit psychedelic tinged, but for the most part, this is just kind of downer folk. Not Dylan-esque political folk, not Donovan Poppy folk. This is just kind of introspective folk music. The opening track, Play While She Dances. On side 2, Lost People, and Why Do I Still Love You, and Yesterday Was, and even a track, A Sadder Story. So that's what you're getting here. You're getting some very introspective, sad bastard folk music, but I like that kind of stuff. This isn't like my cup of tea necessarily. This isn't the stuff I seek out, but for being a late 60s, I think 68 or 69 album, this is, it's kind of, it hits a vein that I do dig a little bit, so.
Alright, wouldn't be a Record Run video without a little jealousy generator.
Gosh dang it. What is it?
Dropped a Lincoln on The Beach. I dropped a Lincoln on the Beach.
Well,
this is one that Mellow Yellow held in his hand and owned briefly, and then turned over because he didn't really know what it was.
Well, I knew.
I mean, you were like, oh yeah,
$1. Somebody was like, I'll give you 15. I was like, great, made 14 bucks immediately.
Yeah. This one, I paid $5 for it because it was in a little mystery bin that said that the store that I got it at hadn't even opened it yet and gone through, and they were like, man, you can take a look in there and we'll just charge you. And it's one of those ones, Neil Young on the Beach, not a commercial success at all, but I really like it. You know my history with Neil Young. I don't go nuts for his stuff, but this one, super, super depressingly great. Neil Young's On the Beach is one I really, really like, and of course, glad to get it for $5 and that it is a jealousy generator.
I'll give you 10. Greg, more shout-outs. This was 15 or 20 bucks. I can't remember. I think 15. Warren S. Richardson Jr. self-titled album on Cotillion. The cover's pretty cool here. You kind of think like, I don't know, that might be folky, that might be proggy. This is like straight up blues rock, but it's really good. 6 tracks total, 3 on each side, so you get a little bit jammy on each track. Opening track is called Reputation. It's 7 minutes long. Side 2's opening track, Wind and Rain, 10 minutes long. So he lets it wail a little bit on a few of these tracks and lets it really stretch out. I thought, when I got home and kind of looked it up, I was like, oh, it's not psych, and it's not. Well, I thought it was going to be, it says blues rock. I hope it's not like that boogie bar band blues. And put it on and was like, oh no, this is great. This is like hard, you know, not a little bit fuzzy in spots, but kind of Cream-esque blues rock without the psychedelia. I don't know, just blues rock, man. It's really good stuff.
Another one that comes from that Richard Morton Jack book, but one I've wanted forever. Now, not an original copy. Nobody freak out. But got a little bit of Easter everywhere here. This is the album I prefer, man. I know that there are people who like psychedelic sounds better. It's a matter of taste. This one, I'm gonna get my chakras in line here. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 7 Sons, baby. 7 Sons. The Three-Eyed Men are back. All right. This is, in my opinion, the better album. Obviously, the single everybody knows, You're Gonna Miss Me, is from the first LP. But if there's a better track than Slip Inside This House to open an LP that is meant to be a deep dive inside yourself, I don't know what it is. These 79 reissues, they did a great job with these. A lot of times you get late 70s reissues of stuff, and it's Dynaflex. I mean, it's garbage. They did a really good job with these, so shout out to Radar Scope. Really, really glad they did this.
All right, I believe $25 from Greg. Again, boy, hope you get some business your way at the next show, Greg. This is Passing Clouds.
Nerd alert! Nerd alert!
Totally. This is on, the label is Pete Records, but on the back it says Records by Pete. So I don't know if it was like a boutique thing. Pete just opened up a record bodega and Records by Pete. The album is called Hawks and Doves. This is a promo copy.
Nerd alert! I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm pretty sure that the members of this band, if living, are playing Cones of Dunshire right now.
Yes, here they are on the back.
Yeah.
In fact, a dove coming out of that gentleman's nest of hair there on top. This is interesting. This is a little bit folky in spots, a little bit proggy in spots, but there is a foot firmly planted in the psychedelic era. This is kind of an obscurity, a little curio. So if you're looking for an album that might have been pressed in low quantities but doesn't break the bank and isn't like, you know, super competitive in the market, gosh dang it. I had jambalaya for dinner, so I got the
Whoa!
smoked sausage is fighting back.
Is it now? That's what
bit.
she always says.
Oh boy.
His friends forsake him all alone.
Same thing as the last record I showed there, keeping up with the theme. So, I was in New York City. I was at one of my favorite record stores in Brooklyn, the Academy Records Annex. Shout out to those guys. They are fantastic. They even kept the store open a few minutes late for me because I said, hey, I'm going to be here for one night. Can you I need like 5-10 extra minutes. And they were great about it. So, really, really happy with those guys. This is the 1967 but 79 reissue of The Parable of Arable Land from the Red Crayola with the familiar Ugly. This one's a jammer, man.
Yeah.
This one is a freeform freak out, as many of the tracks are in fact called freeform freak out.
And freeform.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're not talking pop sensibilities with this record here. This one, this is a lay off the brown acid record, folks. I got this one for a really reasonable price. Happy to have both this and Easter Everywhere.
I don't know the guy's name. That he's at every show. He's in the back, not back corner guys, but he's got the bigger table. Usually has some pretty interesting stuff, and sometimes the prices are shockingly low for what things are. And this was one of those. On International Artist, a little theme in this.
Boy, we really hit.
Episode.
We've been hitting them hard
We
lately.
have indeed.
Loving the Texas Psych.
Yeah, Bubble Puppy, A Gathering of Promises. I had a modern reissue of this, but in the bins for $15, and it said as is. So I was like, oh, the record's going to be destroyed because the cover's not bad. I mean, it's VG, but it's not banged up that bad. Took the record out. It's a VG as well, so a solid VG copy of an International Artist classic. Absolutely. I love this record. I think it's really great. You'll see it touted as psychedelic a lot. I think that's overpraise, a little overhyping. This is a little more just straight rock, hard rock. Hot Smoke and Sassafras is the big track. There are a couple of tracks that kind of dip their toes into psych, but for a great 60s rock album, you'd be hard-pressed to find one a little bit better than this. So.
Median level record here. It'll be some people's tastes, but not everybody's. Pick this up at a wonderful shop in Indianapolis called Indie CD and Vinyl. This one is pop weirdness. It's called A Giant Crab Comes Forth, and it's a concept album announcing that a giant crab has emerged from the ocean or a lake or something and is running roughshod over the land, terrorizing people. If that sounds like it's your thing, then you'll like this, and if it doesn't, you won't. I don't know what else to say. It has poppy sensibilities. I think there's a copy of this that is currently available at Speakeasy Records and Oddities in Decatur for a very nice price, and it's in very good condition. So, cool. If that sounds fun to you, go check it out. Say hey to Brian.
Is out to intensify your soul.
All right, also from the guy in the back for $25. This is Eric, Look Where I Am. I saw this in his bin and was like, ooh, that cover looks really cool. And Randy Deadwax66 had showed it in a video. And so I remembered it from that and was like, you know what, for $25, I'm going to take a chance. Randy liked it, and the price isn't too crazy on it. And got home, and it goes for quite a bit more. This is like a $75 record. There is some water damage at the bottom there, a little bit of staining. And I've tried to clean it up as best I can, and that just kind of seems to be how it is. But really great record. This is on Vanguard. This does get a little bit folky in spots, but it's folk rock. And then there are a couple of tracks that have some heavy, heavy fuzz guitar to them. The opening track, Look Where I Am, the title track, has some great fuzz guitar on it. I don't know, there's just some really great songs on here. I like this a lot. This was in contention for my top 10 finds of last year. It would have made the top 15 for sure.
All right, here. Moving up the chain of the ditties.
Oh boy.
Found this one at Euclid Records while my wife was getting her herded. Euclid Records, St. Louis. Wanted it for a while. Clear spot.
Nice.
Yes. All right. So
some of these I haven't seen.
Yeah, I've been keeping the lid on a few of these. Yeah. So really cool record. The title track is fantastic. There are ballads.
Oh boy.
And
Beefheart ballad.
I know, a Beefheart ballad. That's what the mojo book says about it. Captain Beefheart, ... with ballads. This is a really good one. I'm a Captain Beefheart maniac, but I would say this would be one that you'd like.
A little more accessible.
Oh, much
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
It's not lick my decals off, baby, or anything like that. Yeah, Clear Spot's a lot of fun. Check that out. Again, Euclid Records, and Clear Spot came out in 1972. It's on Reprise.
I've got 2 to go, and they're both from Greg, and they were kind of pony ups a little bit. This was $40, so for me that's a lot. I don't usually dip that high, but here it is. Sagittarius, present tense. Gary Usher, Kurt Bocher, pop perfection. I still need to find the Millennium, but man, if you're familiar with the Millennium or the Smoke or the David, this is kind of in that same vein, that same sort of really beautifully arranged pop psych, just wonderfulness. I love this record. This is really, really good. I really never thought I'd come across a copy that I could afford. This does tend to go for quite a bit more than 40 even, so I feel like I got a really good deal from Greg. And Song to the Magic Frog, Will You Ever Know? That's a great track. The Keeper of the Games, Would You Like to Go? And then I'm Not Living Here. I really like those tracks. It's all wonderful. If you like pop psych, this is a must-have. This is up there with the best of the genre, and very, very pleased to have it.
So my last 2, one I bought in Indianapolis and one was Captain Beefheart, so I might as well show some Captain Beefheart I bought in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
This is a 1967 pressing. It's not a first pressing, but it is a 1967, so original year. Safe as milk.
Boy, that's nice.
It's beautiful.
It is.
This one has just a little bit of cover damage on the back there. And I did pay up a little bit for this one, but actually, again, was given a nice little deal at Indie CD and Vinyl. So, I don't know what else you can really say about Safe as Milk that hasn't been said before. It's in the Richard Morton Jack book.
Yes, indeed.
It's delicious on every level. Side 1 is amazing. Safe as Milk.
All right. The big pony
Oh
up.
boy.
The big pony up. I think I got this in
true
January.
indecision for you.
Yeah, oh yeah. I wavered on this for like 3 shows. You know, did I want it that bad? Did I want to pay up for it? And ultimately I did. I paid, I think, $60 for this. It's a very, very fair price for a mono promo copy of the Bronx. Oh, this is fantastic. This is pop psych, but it's on that more kind of garage end of the spectrum, a little bit more raved up sort of pop psych, and probably you could even call it psych pop, because the psych flourishers are in the foreground. I never thought I could afford a copy of this, and I'm really glad I ponied up. It's tied for the most I've ever paid for a record.
I'll give you a minute.
Yeah, hold on, I'll turn my back.
It's a pretty good video for number 40.
Yeah, man.
Lots of
We
good
brought
stuff.
Some heavy hitters out.
Some contenders.
Yeah.
Some contenders. Jake Frisbee.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks to everybody for continuing to YouTube us, to tune in, to subscribe, whatever it is. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We'll try to keep the videos coming. See you soon. Until then, avoid scratches and stay in the groove.